Okay, we are officially starting our community college counselor update meeting. Thank you everybody who is tuned in today. We're really excited to have you all on. We are recording this session, so if you have a colleague that wasn't able to join us, let them know it will be available afterwards. So my name is Helen Duca, and I am the Assistant Director with the Transfer and Adult Enrollment Center. We'll also have on the call Greg Landis, who's the Associate Director of Undergraduate Admissions. He'll be kind of working behind the scenes, so if there's any tech issues, he'll be my go-to guy. I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that are Transfer Center specific that you may want to share with your students. So with our application, there's currently no application fee for the fall 2021 semester. So there's no fee to apply. It's being waived still. The priority deadline for the fall is July 15th. So students still have time to get their application submitted and their different application materials. So some students are waiting until the end of their spring semester to submit their transcripts. So just maybe shoot them, like, let them know that the deadline is out there and looming, but they have time. Our office is offering appointments. We have virtual appointments and in-person appointments, as well as in-person tour opportunities. So whether they have questions about how their credits are transferring, there's something they may want to talk about in terms of the admissions process, or they're more in their planning stage, a one-on-one appointment could be a really great option for them. There is a link to request that appointment or tour on the main website for the Transfer Center. So we try to make it pretty accessible there. Other website updates, we recently made a hub for our community college counselors. So it's our Community College Counselor Connect page. It's got some different resources and information for our community college counselors that they may find helpful to share with their students. And the other really great thing is that is where we're posting these recorded information sessions that we've been doing. So we did our first virtual session in the fall 2020, and it's still available on our website. And then earlier this spring, we hosted a session with our College of Engineering and Polymer Science. So that session is still available to view on the website, which is a really good segue, because if you have an area of study that your students have a lot of questions about, there seems to be maybe a surge of interest, please let us know. The reason that we are able to host these kind of focused sessions is because one of our community college counselor partners have reached out and requested that information. So we try and provide whatever information is most relevant to you and your students. So before I hand it off to our College of Business to start their presentation, I do just want to throw up some contact information. So if you want to take a little picture or just kind of scribble it down in your notes, if you have any questions or any comments after the session or even during the session, feel free to shoot myself or Greg Landis an email. You can always call us as well, but that's our contact information to get in contact. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Dr. Steve Ash with the College of Business Administration, and Dr. Abby Scheiben, who's also with the College of Business Administration.
Thank you, Helen.
Thanks.
Okay, will you let me give me permission to share my screen, Helen?
Are you able to share now? I think I adjusted that setting.
Yep, I think I've got it. Thank you.
Awesome.
So let me open up a presentation that I've put together with Dr. Scheiben's help. I appreciate it, Dr. Scheiben. And so, yeah, so my name is Steve, and I'm the Assistant Dean in the College of Business. And I want to also just be sure that I recognize Dr. Scheiben, who's with us online, and she's the Senior Director of Advising. So she is the individual that actually has everybody's answers to your questions. I do presentations and talk a lot, but she's the actual person who has the information and helps students get to where they need to be. She works with all the advisors, and we really do care. So I have a lot I'd like to talk about. I'll try and move through it briefly so we can see if you have any questions or issues. And also, my email address is really pretty simple. If you can remember, my last name was Ash. It's ash@uakron.edu. And more than happy to talk with anybody who feels like they want to know more about business or how we can work. So first, why would somebody pursue a degree in business? And I think there are a lot of reasons, but most of them come down to either some financial impact, some value added to themselves so they can be more influential in organizations. We actually think that business is the best way to change the world. All the problems the world faces, basically it's through business and the correct use of business ethically that we can make the changes and make the world a better place. So I think there are a lot of good reasons why students pursue a degree in business. And I want you to know right up front that we are eager to form stronger partnerships. College of Business right now is in a situation where we want to have more partners. We want to know how to work with people better, how to help your students. I think we're all in the business of trying to help students achieve success. So what's the best way that we can help transfer students achieve success? And how can we be better partners with you? It's not a rhetorical question. And hopefully at the end, you have some ideas after you hear what I have to say. So just a little bit about our College of Business for those who don't know. We started offering business courses all the way back in 1916. We were officially established as a professional college in 1953. And we've been accredited by AACSB since 1965. Now, every university, every college of business is going to say they're accredited, but accredited by whom matters. AACSB is the gold standard of accrediting bodies. So all the top business schools are accredited by AACSB. So something I hope you take a look at as you look at your other partnerships and business schools you work with. Because of that, we've been a key source of talent for both small and large organizations around our region, around the country, and indeed around the world. Within our college, we have 5 different departments. We have accounting, economics, finance, management, and marketing. And then each of those has multiple majors within them. So here are the majors, pardon me, for students. Students could major in any of these items: accounting, marketing, sales, international business, business administration, business data analytics, economics, financial planning, risk management, insurance, information systems, supply chain and operations, human resources. Then we have a lot of minors. The one I need to put out there because so many students are interested, we do have an entrepreneurship minor, which pairs well with any one of the majors. So there are lots of, you probably have a minor in every one of the majors, but entrepreneurship is a particularly popular one for those that want to start their own business or run a family business. Business administration, I will point out, is our most popular starting point. So most freshmen and indeed most transfer students decide business administration, well, that's a generic business degree. Why don't I pursue that? Well, students should think about this carefully because the other majors all have basically higher salaries and higher placement rates. And business administration is not the easiest one because you have to take kind of hard courses in each of the other areas. So just kind of a word of warning to think about that. And I'll come back to this at the end as I ask students to think about what they really want to do. So I'm going to go through the top 10 reasons why you or students should choose the College of Business. So here's the top 10. Number 10 is our rankings. I mentioned before AACSB. We're dual accredited. There are 2 options, business and accounting. We have both. which puts us in approximately the top 1% of all business schools worldwide. We're ranked highly by the Princeton Review. Bloomberg Business Week has put us as the top 50 public school, business school in the United States. U.S. News and World Report always ranks us very highly. CEO Magazine puts us at tier 1. And Poets and Quants, this is the most recent kind of validation sector. They've listed us as a top 100 nationally and #1 business school in Northeast Ohio. The reason we're particularly fond of this one is because it actually uses student and employer data, not just perceptions of other deans. So we're very proud of that. #9 reason why students should come to the University of Akron is because of our commitment to professional development. So professional development is basically everything that is not part of 4-credit classrooms. We really believe in making students career ready and connected. So we have many, many alumni and local leaders that work with us, and we have programs like mock interviews. We have our suit up week. We have career exploration panels, networking nights. We have special mentoring programs, and we have evenings with. So we have evenings with the accountants, evening with supply chain professionals, all these different ways that students can get involved, really learn about the profession, figure out if that's really what they want to do, if that's really what they enjoy, and to get help from those who are in the field already, from our strength of alumni. #8 reason is our focus on experiential learning. We have multiple projects and activities we bring directly from businesses into the classroom. One of my advisory boards right now, in fact, is developing a special set of case studies from their actual experiences that we bring in the classroom. The students are supposed to use what they've learned in the class to figure out how they would deal with the situation, and they write it up. And then the professional comes in afterwards to say what really happened and why what they suggested would work well or what they should try differently. We have capstone courses. Last course in many of our courses, in many of our programs, is a consulting project where students work on real business problems. They actually have a problem they're solving, making recommendations to the senior executives. We have many study abroad, global exchange opportunities. We have special leadership development opportunities. We work with the Army for their Army Challenge course. So these are all really highly experiential. Students gain a lot from them. #7 is our dedicated college internship program. We have 2 full-time staff members. These are the photos of Aaron and Donald. They work with regional businesses and they work with individual students. We're focused on making connections. That's what we do. And we have students that end up with multiple internships by the time they graduate, and they become highly valued in the marketplace. So we encourage every student to do internships, and we help them do it. #6 is our support programs and our strong student community. We have a special tutoring program we do through NAC. NAC is kind of an Uber for tutoring, where we find students who've done exceptionally well in a class can sign up to be a tutor and be paid by the college and by our donors, not by the students. So students can kind of find real time, when they're available, tutors to help them with specific classes. We have professional advisors. They're full-time dedicated staff that help students every step of the way. And that's what Dr. Scheiben and her group do. We have students from nearly every state and more than 30 countries. And we have tremendous engagement with the local community, working with projects. We have speakers, guests, real strong ties to Northeast Ohio businesses specifically. Here are the College of Business student organizations. They're all student run. The university has hundreds, but these are the ones that exist just within the College of Business. And you can see we have clubs and organizations for nearly every interest area of a student. #5, our research faculty and industry experts are the ones that teach our classes. Our faculty are globally recognized as thought leaders. They publish numerous articles and books with very prestigious rankings. I checked, and last year we had 64 research articles and books that were published, and this is a typical year. There's significant national press on the findings, and we also bring in leading industry experts for certain courses so they can teach those, because they can explain exactly how things are done in the best organizations today. So all of our faculty are totally committed to student success. #4 is our institutes and centers. These are dedicated areas where we received additional external funding for support. We have a Fisher Institute for Professional Selling, the Fitzgerald Institute for Entrepreneurial Studies, the Institute for Leadership Advancement, the Taylor Institute for Direct Marketing, the Institute for Global Business, and the Center for Information Technology and Analytics. These are all special focus areas that work with students, that work with programs to help prepare students even better than the classrooms do. Number 3 is our small class size. We really have focused learning that we're very proud of. There are no graduate assistant instructors, none. So all the courses are taught by PhDs in their field, along with a few key industry experts, as I mentioned before. We don't have any graduate students kind of teaching in the program. Our average class size for the entire college, all courses, is 29 students per class. And for the upper level courses, these are the major courses, the average is 24 students per class. So there's a lot of interaction, very, very dedicated teaching to individualize student attention. Number 2 is our scholarships. For the 1920 year, we gave over 1,000 scholarships that totaled more than $5.3 million. We're still giving out money now, so we don't have the total for this year. To be fair, a lot of this goes to freshmen, but we do have some scholarships that are for continuing students. And the number 1 reason why the University of Akron's College of Business should be the choice is because of our active business network of over 33,000 alumni. We have over 1,000 executives in top C-suite positions like CEO, CFO, that kind of position. We also have more than 270 executives and professionals belong to one of our 13 advisory boards. These advisory boards work with programs and majors to make sure we're teaching the latest thinking, the latest skills, that our courses are up to date, that we're covering the right topics. They're also the guest speakers. They hire our students. They provide internships. They are people that really care about the future success of students. That's why they work so closely with our faculty and our administration. Our faculty have very strong ties to regional and national businesses, and this is to the advantage of students. So the outcome for all this is student success. Here are a few of the companies where our students have been hired. As I was putting this together, obviously I have far too many that I could fit in, but you cannot think of a great organization does not have our students working there or possibly even leading that organization. So what are some key issues for transfer students? As I talked with Abby and the advising group, they thought about it. And here's kind of some of the top issues that transfer students need to think about and that you might already know, but might want to consider discussing further. First is math. Students should aim for college algebra and calculus, not a statistics track. We have our own in-house statistics that are not easily waivable by generic statistics courses. It is really best if students can complete college algebra and calculus before transferring. This does often turn into a stumbling block where the students don't have the math prep or they've taken ones that aren't at the same level that we need. If they can take those before transferring, they're going to be much better off. And if not, they should be prepared to move on that track. If students are completing an associate's degree, they should pursue a more general associate's, not a business-specific associate's degree. An associate of arts works well, but the focus should be on general education. Generally, when students come to university, their first 2 years is spent on gen ed. After that, they're prepared to take the higher level business courses. We've seen some places where at community colleges, they try and flip that, where I've had a student come and say, okay, I've taken all my, for example, human resource management courses. Now I'm transferring to the university so I can take my gen ed. Well, that actually won't work, and we won't accept those higher level courses as transfer in. So it's important they focus on gen ed. Number 3, think about a major. I mentioned before, business administration is such a strong, popular option, but if they can determine ahead of time what they really care about and what they're good at, they'd be better off choosing a specific major. And as Dr. Scheiben points out, transfer students don't have that freshman year to kind of explore. Most of those transfer students want to get it into gear and get done as quickly as possible. So it's important to think about that. Number 4, hit the ground running. On day 1, students should join a student organization and engage in professional development. Employers want to see the other stuff besides just the curriculum. So we have this strong professional development program, and students, even all transfer students, need to get involved with that. And last, we have a UA Transfer Center. They're here to help, as you mentioned, and you received an email already. So here's the web page for transfer. You have now contact information to ask questions to. So work with us or have students work directly with us. We want to make it as easy as possible, and we want students to be successful. So student preparation for success, what are some of the things we do? I've just got a few photos. Here's some of our international students on our International Day, trying to expand global thinking and awareness. We host many conferences here that we expect students to participate in. We send students to conferences so they can hear about the latest thinking. We have many student organizations and clubs that participate in competitions for the different majors. And normally we do exceptionally well. We generally win or place very highly in national competitions and regional competitions. And then, as I mentioned, we have a lot of capstone projects where we work with companies kind of in executive capacity. They give us a very serious problem. Our students work on it the entire semester, and they present recommendations. And the organizations are normally really happy for this free consulting. And students get really, really executive experience. So they're ready to hit the workforce hard and running when they arrive because they know how to interact with senior management. We have a number of study abroad and global experiential opportunities where students get to not only develop more friendships, but get to see and do more and understand the problems of the world through different perspectives. And we found this to be invaluable, encourage students to do that. I've led several of these trips. I've had transfer students, and that's actually a really good way for them to bond with new lifelong friends. And then we have, as I mentioned, some of the real specific leadership development where we work with the Army and other groups in highly experiential manners so that the whole student is developed to really be a professional that can have an impact on the world as well as their organization. So if your decision for students about which university to attend is not based on the number of wins of the football team, then the University of Akron is your best choice. And you too could be a zip. So you have to learn how to make the Z symbol for Go Zips. And I'm going to end with this then. So therefore, how can we better work with you as counselors, as community colleges to help students? How can we be a better partner? I'm sure there are things we need to learn and do better also. I'm going to end right here. We have generic Twitter, Facebook accounts, Instagram for those that would like to follow and learn about what students are doing and how they feel about things. So I'm going to stop sharing now, and hopefully we have some discussion or comments because, like I say, we would like to really strengthen our ties with community colleges and bring in more adult learners and transfer students. I see one chat. Social work and RN to BSN would be helpful for Stark State. You know, that is terrific. This presentation was focused on business, but we do have very strong healthcare. And so I'm sure they're looking for the same kind of partnerships in those areas. Got a question. Do you take the OGTP pathway for business? And I'm going to ask Abby if she wants to take that one. Because I actually don't know what OGTP means. I'm sorry. Abby, do you know that?
Helen?
I believe it's the Ohio Guaranteed Transfer Pathway to Business. I believe that that's what it is. So that's kind of built in. So it is intended to be built from an Associate of Arts or an Associate of Science, like you were saying, Dr. Ash, with that being the preferred kind of pathway. And then there are the College of Business Administration core classes that are able to be covered at a community college. So those are the tagged courses that I believe would be in that pathway.
Yeah, anything that's approved through the Ohio transfer modules will accept, if that helps to make it easier.
Thank you. Yeah. And then we've got a math question, 181 calc or 178. And I don't know specifically, what those are. We do have a general calculus course here. I think if it was a calculus for business, we would also accept it. So I don't know which equivalencies there are. That's a great question. We'll try and find out. Okay, yeah, business calc versus a calculus. Abby, have you had any experience with either one? I think we would accept a business calc or a calculus.
Yeah, I'm not sure what institution it is, but the Transfer Center has all the equivalencies on their website. So as long as they come in equivalent to our 3450 210 or higher, either a Calc with Business or Calc 1, then we'll accept those ones.
That's
if
a
you
good
can let me know
question.
what institution that is, we can look that up.
Yeah, but that's something that, I want to make sure that we understand better so that we can give a better answer for that. So I appreciate that question very much. So the 168 stats, I think we would probably not accept. We do not take generic statistics courses. Ours is very analytics focused. And so, the traditional stats actually don't work for the College of Business.
And I just want to jump in and clarify with statistics. It would transfer and satisfy a general education math requirement, but the College of Business would just need an additional math. So it does transfer to the University of Akron, but if the student is pursuing business, it may end up sitting as an elective and they would have additional math to complete.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. That's right. Doesn't mean the university wouldn't accept it, but for the college specific programs, that's not the route that serves the students best. Other questions? Assuming you have some students that want to go on for a four-year degree, and assuming some of those want College of Business, what would be best for us to do to engage with you or with students? How could we be most helpful? So a question, are all classes in person or any hybrid online courses? And the answer is we still have a lot of online courses right now because of COVID. With fall, we're planning on opening up full. So the majority of our classes will be either face-to-face or hybrid. We do have fully online programs. We do have a brand new program in business management that is fully online that will be rolling out starting in the fall. And the truth is many of our courses now kind of hybrid. So we're trying to find the best ways to do some class flipping. If it's just a pure lecture, let's have people watch it on video. So when they come in face-to-face, they can engage with activities, debates, interactions. So the answer is kind of all of the above. We have had a lot of online and we expect to be primarily face-to-face or versions of blended starting in the fall. And a question, do you offer unofficial transcript review? I think a lot of CC students are hesitant to apply prior to knowing where they will come in at. That sounds like a great question also. Abby, can you take that one?
Yeah, the Transfer Center can provide that to students as well. So Helen, do you want to talk about that process?
Yeah, so that is something that we can provide to the students, whether they want to set up a one-on-one appointment to go over things in more detail, or if they just want to shoot us their unofficial transcript. We can take a look at the credits, let them know how they're going to transfer. If there's any maybe additional information we need to go over with them or check with the department, we can do that from that point. But that is one of the big questions that we get in our office, and we're happy to help.
And I see a great question coming up now. Let me just read it. For students who prefer in-person courses, many of our students are struggling to find evening courses. Can your business management degree completed without any daytime courses through a combination of evening courses and online courses? Struggling to find it at their four-year business school. So this is, as you may guess, this has been a great challenge for us. Historically, nearly all of our majors, all of our programs have been offered daytime and evening. So we serve both populations. However, we're seeing more and more demand for those evening students to be able to have the flexibility of doing online courses instead. So I think we're seeing a transition now so that we'll have daytime courses for traditional students and more online, or at least hybrid courses for the non-traditional students. So I don't think we're going to have so many fully face-to-face evening courses anymore. There will be a few. And some programs feel they can't do a good job online. For information systems, for example, they feel like they need to be there on the computer helping you, show you how to program. So they decided they're still doing theirs in more traditional formats. The others, for non-traditional evening students, we're probably going to be targeting more online offerings, or at least hybrid offerings. And that's just because we don't have the resources, the faculty, to teach daytime and face-to-face, evening and online, because our accrediting body does not let us hire just any instructors. They have to have PhDs with research, and we can hire a few kind of extra professionals. But that's our limitation. And if you really feel like the trend or the demand is going to be evening face-to-face, I would love to hear about that, because that's not the sense we've been getting, but you guys may be closer to the ground. Thank you for the question, and let me know if you need follow-up discussion on that. Another question, for your organizational supervision program, we have always been told that 160 stats from LCC, is that not the best choice for our students? And I thought I heard some chatter that math requirements might be changed for that program. I do know something about it. Organizational supervision is not offered through the College of Business. So that's why it does have very different requirements. It is not a business degree. It is actually, it was offered through, now offered through the School of Communication. So the School of Communication has the org supervision program, and they are making some changes to it, but I'm not in a position where I could answer those. I'm sorry. So if you check with College of Arts and Sciences, the School of Communication, they'll be better able to answer those questions. It's a great question. And
Dr. Ash,
that assumption about org supervision has existed for a while, but it's not one of ours. Yes, please, Greg.
We had a question a little bit earlier, top of students, that if the new ZIPS affordability scholarship that kind of helped plug gaps for Pell eligible students was open yet to transfer students. And unfortunately at this time, it's not been expanded out to the transfer students incoming that have Pell eligibility. However, if you're working with students that have a gap, please have them connect with me. We'll work with financial aid to see if there's anything to do that we can do to help bridge that gap. Welcome those conversations. You can direct any of your students to me, and I'll kind of bridge with financial aid and see what we can do to help them get here to be ZIPS.
And we all recognize the challenges of cost. Unfortunately, there's little we can do about it right now. I kept hoping for Biden to say, okay, and four-year degree programs will also be free last night, but clearly emphasis on community colleges, which is going to be wonderful. Hopefully there's going to be additional support for state schools, because actually the state has reduced support for many years, and is why tuition has gone up. So you can actually graph out the support from the state versus the cost of tuition. And that's why the costs are as high as it is today. And I feel very badly for those students that are kind of trying to work their way through, like I did when I was college, because it was a lot cheaper back in the day, and hopefully we can get back there. In the meantime, I really believe that you cannot find a better value College of Business than ours is for what you get for the money. I just don't think you're going to find anything close anywhere else. Obviously, I have a biased opinion, but I encourage you to look at some of the data and see what we offer compared with some of the others. Other questions or suggestions?
And just to add on what Dr. Ash said, if there's something you think of that we can do to help your students or to better do, please email Helen or I. We'll share it with Dr. Scheiben and Dr. Ash and see if there's anything that we can do to help them in their potential transition to here as zips at some point in the College of Business. Or if you have any other thoughts on any other areas, please feel free to share those. Or understand it's a challenging market, challenging times, and we're trying to be as accommodating as we can and helpful. And we want stronger partnerships with our community college colleagues.
And as an assistant dean or a faculty, if there's anybody that you would like to have come visit schools, talk with students, or make a presentation in classroom, or anything like that, we really have faculty and myself that are more than willing to do so. In fact, would enjoy it. We just need the invitation. So just let us know. Okay, am I handing it back? Does anybody have any other concluding comments?
Well, thank you guys so much for doing the presentation and fielding so many questions for our community college counselors. I definitely made some notes of some of the other questions and suggestions that were made on maybe some other areas that we need some additional information on. Like I mentioned, this presentation has been recorded and we will get it posted to our website soon. So thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning to learn more about the University of Akron and our College of Business Administration.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.